Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and in this video today we're going to be talking about changing the pickups on a Telecaster and a really cool mod you can do to your own Telecasters to get a little bit of extra mileage out of it. So the guitar I'm going to be modding is my Tokai Telecaster. I love this guitar. I've had it for a few years now. I've gigged it a lot, but I just think it's time for a pickup upgrade. So I've been speaking to my buddy Adam at Tone Hatch Pickups over in the States, and he's recommended a really cool set for me, which we're going to put into this guitar. We're also going to be talking about a little mod called a four-way switch mod. Now, typically a Telecaster has three pickup positions: the bridge pickup, the middle, which is both, and the neck pickup. But this Telecaster has a fourth position. So we're going to talk about what the fourth position is. So when we run a Telecaster in the conventional sense, like I said, we've got the bridge pickup, the middle, which is both the pickups on in parallel, so they're on together. Then we got the neck pickup, which is just the neck pickup on its own. This fourth position is both pickups in series. Now what that means is it sort of reroutes the signal a little bit, so the signal goes through both pickups in one circuit. So instead of both pickups being on together, the signal goes into one pickup, through the other pickup, and then to the output. So it's sort of like turning this into a humbucker. Now this is a really great mod for a Telecaster because it just adds an extra bit of depth and an extra bit of dimension to it, and also it's just one additional switching option. So if you're playing a gig with a Telecaster, you've got that kind of fake humbucker sound there to work with as well. And it's very simple to do. All you've got to do is add an extra wire to your neck pickup, which goes to another terminal on a four-way switch. So you do have to replace your switch for this. I've already done a four-way mod on this. So today all we're doing is the pickup change, but we'll talk about the mod as we go along. And basically it's just a standard tele switch with an extra one position. So we're going to add an extra cable to this, which again I've already done and Adam has already done to the new pickups, but we'll talk about that when we get there. And that extra position is going to run to a different terminal on the switch. So at the end of this video there's going to be an A/B test as well between how this sounds clean and driven with the stock pickups and with the pickups that I put into the guitar. Alright, so the pickups that are going in the guitar are these Tone Hatch Vintage Class A3 pickups. Now, Tone Hatch are a new company to me. I've just started doing some stuff with them, so this is the first video. I'm not getting paid for this video, but I have been given these pickups. But there is going to be two other videos for two other sets of the pickups coming up on the channel very soon. Now, when I was talking to Adam about some videos, I mentioned that I was looking for a very authentic 50s style tele set, because I think the pickups in this sound great, but I just want that extra kind of 50s vibe from it, and he recommended these. So this is exactly what we're going to be putting in. So it comes with some screws, which is always handy, but the good stuff is always the pickups. Now, having spoken to Adam, I've already asked him to prep these for a four-way mod for me. So they're going to come with the additional wire already added, but we'll talk about that when we get to that stage as well. So I'm just going to show you what these things look like first of all. So there's the bridge pickup. It looks like a tele bridge. It's got a copper base plate and it looks great. They're all hand wound in the States by Adam, and they're actually exceptionally cheap for the amount of work that he puts into them. So they're actually very affordable pickups, so go check them out as well. They sort of come in at around about £100 a set in the UK, which for handmade pickups is pretty crazy. So I'm looking forward to hearing what these things sound like when they're in the guitar. And here's the magic one now, the neck pickup. So typically on a tele neck, you'd only expect to see those black and white cables coming off. But you'll notice on here we have a third cable, a yellow cable. Now there is an additional terminal under the pickup there which this cable is added to. So if you were doing this yourself, there's usually a point where you can see the copper coil coming out. I'll show you the mod I've done on this pickup when I take it out of the guitar. And what I did is I added this extra cable which then routes to one of the switch terminals. So the first thing I need to do is just take the guitar apart, and then we can get the wires out and I can show you what goes on inside. So I'm just going to take the strings off. And as if by magic, the strings are gone. So now we just need to take everything apart. So I'm not actually going to be doing a complete rewire on this today because I've already actually done that in the past. All of the pots, the switch, the jack, they're all new that I put in like a year or so ago. So I'm just going to take the pickups out today so you can see what's going on under the hood, and then we'll talk about how to change the pickups and how to do this additional mod. So it's very simple to do. Even if you've just got some basic soldering skills, you'll be able to pull this mod off. So it should be a pretty straightforward task for us to do in this video today. Okay, so that's all the screws out, so everything now is loose, so we can get into all the cavities we need to. So now let's start looking at what we need to do to change the pickups. So, like I said, I've already done some mod work on this. The components here have already been changed. These are a new set of pots, a new switch, a new capacitor and everything, but the pickups are still the original ones from when I got the guitar. So Teles are actually really easy to work on because everything sort of has its own space. So the bridge pickup has nothing inside other than the 2 wires which run to the switch, so that's a very easy part to deal with. And we should see the same thing in the neck cavity. There's not a lot that goes into a Telecaster build, so again, all we've got here is, I can't really turn that around properly for me to see it, but we've got 3 wires. I hope you guys can see that on the close-up cams. There's 3 wires there coming off the neck pickup, which again, I'll show you in more detail as we take things apart. So inside the tele cavity, it's very simple. We've got the switch is the same as you'd normally expect, but it's got an extra sort of terminal on there to deal with the 4-way switching position. There's 2 cables coming off the bridge pickup, which is just the yellow and the black cable here, which are running to the switch and one of the earthing points. And then the same off the neck pickup, which hopefully you can see in that camera, but there's actually 3 cables here because I've added one for the 4-way wiring mod. So the extra one is this thin black cable here that's running to the last terminal. This is the split from the coil of the neck pickup that we've added, and then you've got obviously the earth cable coming from the neck to the earthing point and the live going to the regular pickup contact. Usually when you're wiring a pickup, you just have a live and an earth, which would be this red and this black cable, but we've got this additional black cable here, which is the sort of extra coil that we've sort of not added an extra coil, but there's an extra wire where we split the coil, which allows the switch to route the signal through both pickups in one go. So first thing I'm going to do is just start taking things apart. I'm going to pull all of the existing pickups out. Soldering iron, be careful with these because, you know, you get burnt if you're not. So desoldering is the easy bit. So hopefully I'm desoldering the correct cables as well, because like I said, it's been a while since I looked inside this guitar, so expect me to get this wrong. And if you've watched any of my other mod videos, you know I do tend to make a couple of stupid mistakes when I'm soldering. Okay, so there's actually, I'm remembering bits of this mod as I go along now. Where the red cable meets the terminal, there's an additional jumper cable. So I'm actually jumping this terminal to this terminal. See this extra yellow cable I've added? So what I need to do is I need to desolder the red cable without pulling the jumper out. If I do pull the jumper out, it's not a problem. I can just add it back in later on. And then this yellow cable here should be the bridge pickup, so I'll just desolder that one as well while I'm at it. So the only other one now is the earth for the neck pickup, which is, as I suspected, that big black cable there. I've actually done a pretty bad job in the past of soldering this earth connection on, so this might take a moment to get off. Okay, we're out. So let's get this on the close-up camera there for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So usually this thick black cable here, which actually doubled as my earth cable, is the extra thing here. So these 2 cables here are the ones that usually come off the pickup. What you do for the mod is there's usually a little coil or a little kind of terminal there, which I'm not quite getting in the camera. There's a little terminal there on the top, which usually has an extra coil or an extra sort of thread of copper going to it. What you've basically got to do is cut that thread and then solder an additional cable to that. So again, it is one of those slightly destructive mods because once you've done it, you can't really undo it. But if you're certain you want this kind of mod, make sure you read up about it. There's loads of cool stuff online about how to do the mod properly. So obviously don't go diving into it if you're unsure in any way, and certainly don't trust me on it, because, you know, I'll probably tell you how to do it the wrong way. So let's just get that pickup out, and then we'll take the bridge pickup out, and then we'll put the new set in. But I am a big fan of the 4-way wiring. I think it really does add an extra kind of, just an extra level to the Tele sound. I love the way a Tele sounds anyway, but just having that extra switching option makes it just all the more versatile when you're playing live with it. So there's that one out. Now the only thing I need to get out now is this thin black cable here, which is the bridge's earth. So let's just pull that one off. And there's our bridge pickup. So I've not done anything different to the bridge pickup. That's just as is. So I'm just going to take that out of the bridge. And then we're going to put the new ones in. And hopefully this all goes to plan. And everything sounds right. Everything should sound good. Here's hoping. And the bridge pickup is out. Okay. So now, what have I done with the new pickups? Let's get these in. So these tone hatch pickups are really easy to work with because they've got the vintage cloth wiring, which again, if you've seen me do pickup videos before, you'll know I'm a big fan of the vintage cloth wiring. And the other cool thing that Adam does, and I'm not sure whether this is vintage correct or what, but he actually puts these little rubber stoppers on. So those actually would replace the typical springs. So whether or not the rubber is going to affect the tone, who knows? But it's just a nice sort of little thing that he does onto the pickups as well. So let's just get these in place, and then we'll start talking about wiring it up again. So if you're going to use these little rubber stoppers in place of a spring, what you do is put the screw through the ashtray bridge, push the stopper on, get the pickup, and then line that up, and then tighten it so it grips, and then that stopper now is in place. So obviously that will act instead of my spring. So now I just do the same thing for the other two screws. The other good thing with these is because they're rubber, they actually grip the screw. So I don't know if you've changed pickups before with the springs, but it can be quite fiddly to actually get the springs to stay on. But I can let that screw go, and that's not screwed into the pickup, but because the rubber stopper is on there, it's not going anywhere. So it's actually a little bit easier to work with than the usual sort of spring-based pickup loading systems. So now we just get these in place and tighten down, and we're in business. So I'm not going to put the wires in just yet. I'm just going to keep that to one side while I do the neck pickup. So same thing, we've got the two screws there with the rubber stoppers. Those just go into the scratch plate wherever I've put that. Oh, it's actually still on the guitar. So you just put the, where's the neck pickup gone? Put the neck pickup through. That one's actually got the stoppers on it already. So I'm just putting the neck pickup through, and then we can start talking about how to wire this thing up with the additional wire. I think if you guys haven't tried the 4-way wiring before, I think when you hear it, you'll be pleasantly surprised at what it can do to a Tele. All right, neck pickup is in place. So now what we have to do is start putting this back together. So I'm going to start with the bridge pickup just because that's the one that's easiest. There's less wiring to do there. So inside the bridge pickup cavity, there's a hole which runs into the control cavity. So the white and black cables are going through this hole, and then they should pop out the other side. Even though I've done a terrible job of shielding, at least the throughway for the wires should be pretty clear. There we go. And then that just slots into place. This is going to be a little bit fiddly on this guitar because this is actually an import Tele, so the routing isn't exactly the same as a US style, so it's a little bit tight, but it's doable, it's on, it fits. I would probably suggest, if you are going to be using an import Tele like I am, to check the dimensions first, which I didn't do because I always overlook that as something to check. But once the screws are on, it should hold it in place and we shouldn't have any problems. I'm pretty confident that ain't going anywhere. Okay, so now we need to get it wired up. So I'm just going to quickly reference my wiring diagram that is on the screen behind my camera. So the bridge pickup live cable, which is the white cable, is going to the first terminal, and the earth for it is going to, where's it gone? That one there with the jumper, I believe it came off, so that's where I'll put it back. So the good thing with cloth wiring is that you literally just pull the cloth back. I'm a big fan of the cloth style wiring. I find it so easy to work with, and it's very kind of pliable. So when you're working in tight spaces, you can bend it and it holds its shape really well. So let's just get the solder flowing there on that terminal. And we're in. And then I believe I said it came off this terminal here, which seems to have quite a few different things on it already. So let's see if we can do this. That's a bit hot. I'm going to use my pliers for that one. Okay, I've broken my jumper cable, so I just have to strip a little bit off the end there. Like with all electrical guitar mods, if there's anything you're not too comfortable doing, take it to your local tech and they will get the job done for you. And that was just me cutting the end off the cable, which I didn't want to do. I actually want to strip it so the core is visible. And also, don't forget that the edges where things have previously been soldered can be quite sharp, and I've just gone and cut my finger open. So be careful not only from burning yourself, but also impaling yourself on previously done solder connections. I'm not really the best advocate for health and safety when it comes to guitar mods. As you know, I'm a little bit rough around the edges with some of my DIY skills, but we always get the job done, don't we? So now I need a little bit of solder now just to get this joint going. Right, so I may not have done a great job on that solder joint, so if there's a problem, we put this back together, I can probably put money on that being the reason why. So now we've got this triple wired neck pickup to put in. So with the 3 wires, we're going to be running these through this hole that is in the neck pickup cavity, through this channel here into the main control cavity. So let's get these cables installed. All right, and we're in place. So now we've got 3 new wires to solder. So we've got the yellow wire is the additional extra coil from the neck pickup. The black wire is the earth connection, and the white is the typical live connection. I think that's what Adam said anyway. So we'll go with that and we'll hope for the best. So the first thing I'll do is solder the live connection. Where I said earlier on I've added a jumper cable, this is connecting these 2 terminals here. Usually you just have the neck pickup go into this terminal. Actually no, there would always be a jumper there on a tele wiring. I'm talking rubbish there. So that's got to go where this jumper cable is. So let's get that one soldered in place. And then the yellow cable, which is the extra coil, goes to this last terminal here on the switch. So I'm just going to peel back that and get that one connected. And now I just need to connect this black cable on top of the pot, which handles the earthing that I previously said I did a terrible job with soldering on top of. Surprise, surprise. And it's all connected, so in theory, I always love using the word in theory at this point, it should work. So I'm going to plug it in now and we're going to find out. So the tuner is off. So what we should have is if we tap the pickups with a screwdriver, we should hear, so at the moment the bridge pickup is selected, so I should hear just the bridge pickup. It's a good start. A little bit of spill on the neck pickup, don't know why, I've probably done something wrong. Middle position. Neck pickup is working, but not so strong. Neck pickup. And nothing from the bridge, which is good. And finally, both pickups in series. Nothing from the bridge. And only something from the neck. Okay. Problem number one. So now I need to retrace my steps with my wiring. So let me just refer back to my wiring diagram. So the only thing I could have possibly gone wrong on here is that I've gotten the neck pickup, the two connections for the neck pickup the wrong way around. So I'm just gonna trial that theory now. So I'm gonna disconnect the white neck pickup cable and the yellow one and flip them around, and maybe that'll fix it. All right, so I cut a bit out there because I had to re-go over some of the wiring, and I realized straight away what I'd done wrong when I looked at a few different wiring diagrams. And basically I've done something really obviously stupid, and I did give you a bit of wrong information. So when I said the yellow cable goes to the terminal and the black cable goes to the ground, I was wrong. The ground goes to the last terminal on the switch, and the yellow cable, which is coming off the casing of the neck pickup, that goes to the ground of the pot. So basically I just had two of my connections backwards. I knew it would be something quite simple. So now, position one, bridge pickup, that works, no neck sound. Position two, which is both pickups together in parallel, we get a sound. Position three, which is just the neck, we get a sound. Position four, which is both pickups in series, so running through the pair like a humbucker, sound, sound. So we are done. So now I'm going to put the guitar back together. So now it's just a case of making sure all the wires go into the cavity, get everything neat, make sure you don't break any connections when you're doing this, and then basically just start screwing it all back together. So the good thing with the cloth wiring is because it's very kind of pliable, you can just sort of fold it into gaps that conventional cables probably wouldn't fit into too easily. I do actually need to tighten some of the bolts on this thing because it's not had a proper setup in a while, this guitar. Okay, so the guitar is now back together. The only thing left to do now is put some strings on it. So I'm not going to bore you guys by making you watch me put strings on the guitar. You probably know how to do that. But if you do want me to make a video about how to put strings on a guitar properly, leave a comment down below and I'll do that for you. So the strings I'm going to be putting on are these Ernie Ball Mega Slinkies. These are really cool. They're 48 to a 10.5 gauge. I quite like a slightly heavier gauge on a Tele style guitar anyway, so these are a nice gauge for this kind of guitar. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to bore you by making you watch me put the strings on. So the next time you see this guitar, it'll be ready to go, and then we can have a listen to how it sounds. All right, so it's all strung up, all tuned up, ready to go. So now we're going to do an A/B test. So before I took everything apart, I recorded some sound samples of both the clean and overdriven tones. So I'm using the Cool Amplification Blue Sky, which is mic'd up with a Lewitt Audio LCT 440 condenser mic, completely clean amp. And there's the reverb on top, which is the Surfy Industries Surfy Bear Classic Spring Reverb Tank. The guitar's just going direct into the amp, but then when I switch on the overdrive, I'm using the Tate FX Antares. So here's an A/B test between the clean sound and the driven sound of the old pickups and the new Tone Hatch Vintage Class A3 pickups. So there you go, there is a bit of a guide on how to change the pickups on a telly and a cool 4-way switch mod you guys can do to your own tellies to give it another extra dimension of what it can do. The pickups I've used, like I said, are the Tone Hatch Vintage Class A3 pickups. So big thank you to Adam for sending those over. Go check out Tone Hatch. There's some links down below in the description. I really like the way these pickups sound. I always thought that my telly sounded okay, but the original pickups, especially the neck pickup, was a bit on the muddy side, and I just couldn't quite get that real classic telly tone out of it. And these pickups have really now brought the guitar alive, so I'm very, very happy with the way these things are sounding. And hopefully you guys heard some of that in the A/B test. The one thing you will probably notice with the 4-way switch is that when you do switch it to the series mode, which is position 4, there is a bit of a volume boost. So position 1, 2, 3, and 4. The reason for that extra volume boost is because we're engaging the second coil in series, not in parallel. So there's that additional boost because now it is sort of functioning like a humbucker. It has that same impact. So again, low noise, much more output, much more volume. So it kind of gives you a telly with a humbucker, even though this doesn't have one. So yeah, there it is. That is the guitar done. And yeah, like I said, I'm very, very happy with the results. I like the way it sounds. There's a couple of little teething problems along the way, as you know, if you've watched any of my guitar mod videos by now, it's just part of the process with me. I get things wrong before I figure out the right way to do them, because I'm not a trained guitar repair person or luthier. I'm someone who just has a soldering iron and, you know, the willingness to give it a go. So don't take any of my, you know, tips and tricks too literal. Try it yourself. Make sure you read up about it and be safe, and don't cut your finger open on sharp solder ends like I've done, and don't burn yourself as well. That's also very, very important. So I'm just going to jam now over a track to round this out with the guitar with all 4 pickup positions using the Tate and Tari switched on, so there's a bit of a driven sound. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of the sound of the Tone Hatch pickups and how you think the sound has changed compared to my old pickups. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And also let me know what your favorite telly pickups are as well. Like I said, don't forget to go check out Tone Hatch down below. Adam is making some really cool stuff, all hand wound and for unbelievable prices. So yeah, please check those out as well. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.